This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video I will preview the Belmont Stakes. And the Preakness is in the books, and journalism was somehow able to escape a box between a tiring Clever Again and a very inexperienced Goal-Oriented. Now, some real race riding was going on between winning rider Umberto Rispoli and Eclipse Award-winning pilot Flavien Prat. As for those commenters trying to take away from journalism's sensational victory in the Preakness by saying that Rispoli was reckless, I'm just not going to take the bait. I've been watching racing since 1980, and horses end up in awkward, tight spots frequently, and sometimes two or more horses end up too close together. It just happens. That's part of the game. I've been around a long time. I've seen it all in this game, and I'm not falling for the latest internet outrage of the moment. The result is official. The race is over. It's time to turn our attention to the Belmont Stakes. And the Belmont will be run at 1.25 miles at Saratoga on Saturday, June 7th. It was also held at Saratoga last year due to ongoing construction at Belmont Park. Now, the big question on everyone's mind is, will journalism compete in the third leg of the Triple Crown? Now, a decision on that won't be made anytime soon. His trainer, Michael McCarthy, he could take him to Saratoga early and let the horse tell him what is next based on his energy level and demeanor. He could also ship to Churchill to prepare for his next start. We'll have to see where he goes, Saratoga or Churchill. And the entries for the Belmont Stakes close on June 1st. There's plenty of time to decide where they want to run journalism next. Now, there's two ways to look at it if journalism does run in the Belmont Stakes. One, he might be a special horse, and he could emulate Risen Star, Hansel, and Hansel was one of my all-time favorites, Tabasco Cat, Point Given, and a Fleet Alex. Now, all of those highly regarded horses lost the Kentucky Derby and won the Preakness in Belmont. And if journalism reminds you of one of those horses, it's probably a Fleet Alex, because he overcame trouble. He almost went down the top of the stretch in the Preakness the year he won that race, and then he won the Belmont Stakes as well. And then journalism having all of that trouble in the stretch, getting himself away from that trouble, finally extricating himself from that issue, and then rolling home late and just getting up late in an excellent performance in the stretch. It's possible that 3 Triple Crown Series races in 5 weeks is just too much for him. That's definitely a possibility. I've mentioned that journalism competing in short fields on the West Coast, returning in 2 weeks, they were weak reasons to throw him out in the Derby and Preakness. But I'm not going to say that about 3 Triple Crown Series races in 5 weeks and running against Grade 1 quality fresh horses in the Belmont. That's definitely a question that we could be discussing as we lead up to the Belmont if he does go there. One of the fresh horses that he could be facing in the Belmont Stakes, Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty, he did have a workout at Saratoga on Preakness Saturday. He breezed an easy half mile in 49.78 seconds, 13th best of 32. That was his first work since the Kentucky Derby. The trainer Bill Mott is beginning his preparations for the Belmont Stakes now. Now, Grade 2 Wood Memorial winner Rodriguez, he scratched out of the Kentucky Derby with a minor foot issue, but that problem did linger, and then he was not entered in the Preakness either. And he did return to the work tab at Churchill Downs on May 11th. He went 4 furlongs in 49, 20th best of 35, and he would be a pace factor if he enters the Belmont for trainer Bob Baffert, and he would like to run him in the Belmont Stakes. Now, your Kentucky Derby show finisher, Baeza, he got back on the work tab at Santa Anita on May 16th. He went a very easy half mile in 53.60 seconds. Now, 43 horses worked at that distance at Santa Anita on May 16th, and this was the slowest of the 43 works. And he finished less than a length behind journalism in the Santa Anita Derby and Kentucky Derby, and he's lightly raced and on the improve. So if he does show up in the Belmont Stakes, definitely a horse you want to consider a contender. Now, a Belmont Stakes decision on Gosger hasn't been made yet, and Preakness 5th place finisher Heart of Honor looks like he could head to Saratoga and he might run in the Belmont Stakes. Now, one Preakness horse not going to the Belmont is your show finisher Sandman. He's going to get a short break and target the Jim Dandy Stakes. Now, one thing about Sandman, anytime this late runner shows up in a graded dirt route on fast dirt, you have to consider him as part of your trifecta because he's finished in the top 3 in 4 fast track graded routes this year, including that Preakness Stakes, and he won the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. He hit the board in the Rebel Stakes and the Southwest Stakes as well. So he's a late runner that always runs his race. And we see this in Triple Crown Series. Sometimes we see these late runners and they just perform well, and then they after the Triple Crown, they continue to finish in the top 3. Now, horses like Sandman, sometimes they're going to get the right setup like he did in the Arkansas Derby and they'll win. And other times they'll just hit the board. They're just so honest. They try hard and they just put in a good late kick every time. And that's Sandman for sure. Now, Peter Pan winner Hill Road, he's targeting the Belmont Stakes for trainer Chad Brown. It looks like he could go to the Belmont. And we'll be getting more Belmont Stakes news in the coming days. And I'll be covering it all right here on my channel. And speaking of the channel, it continues to grow with more than 165,000 views and over 10,000 watch hours in the last 28 days. A big thank you to everyone for helping my channel reach new heights. Let's keep this thing going. And much of the growth is probably due to my strong success on the Road to the Oaks and Derby video series this year. I went 15 for 30 with my top choices on the Road to the Oaks, and I had 11 top choice winners and showed a flat bet profit with my Derby prep race winners. And then I finished with a rush like journalism on that Road to the Derby. I had 5 top choice winners and 2 runner-up finishes in the final 7 Derby preps. Now for the Derby itself, my suggested win wager on Sovereignty, the exacta with journalism, and the trifecta with Baeza brought back a bit less than a $1,000 profit. And then my Preakness top choice journalism, he got the job done. And then I also tabbed the trifecta and superfecta for a profit of more than $450. So that puts us up more than $1,400 after the first 2 Triple Crown Series races. And we've had record sales as well. So thank you to everyone for purchasing my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks Day full cards, my Black Eyed Susan Day full card, my Preakness Day full card as well, and the Belmont Stakes is next. And let's look at my recent Belmont Stakes winning tickets. Now let's get back to 2014, and from 2014 to 2024, I've had 8 winners in the last 11 runnings of the Belmont Stakes. And in 2014, I had the exacta tonal listing commissioner. That $2 exacta came back $348. In 2015, I had the trifecta with American Pharoah, Frosted, and Keen Ice. In 2017, really crushed it that year. My 5-to-1 top choice winner, Taprit, paid $12.60, had the exacta, the trifecta, and the superfecta, and that $2 superfecta came back more than $4,000. In 2018, I had the Justify, Gronkowski, and Hofburg trifecta, and in 2020, I had the trifecta with Tiz the Law winning the race. In 2021, I had the exacta, Essential Quality, and Hot Rod Charlie. Didn't pay much there. The superfecta didn't pay much either. In 2022, good score there. I had Mo Donegal and Nest, the exacta. Nest was my top choice there. And then I had the trifecta and the superfecta that paid more than $1,300. And then in 2023, I had the superfecta there with Arcangelo, Forte, Tepet, Trice was my top choice, and then Hit Show. And that $2 superfecta paid $585. So when I post these highlights, all of the highlights are based on $2 payoffs. And the reason I do that is because the win pool is based on $2. And to keep everything uniform, I just put all the wagers at $2. So I'm not having all of these different amounts on there. So you just know that those are all $2 payoffs. Even if I gave out the tickets, a $20 exacta or whatever, those are just the $2 payoffs. And I will be covering multiple Belmont Stakes Week full cards at Saratoga, including Belmont Stakes Saturday, June 7th. So I will be doing multiple full cards Belmont Stakes Week, and I'm going to have my Belmont Stakes Week full card pre-sale coming up after this week. I want to get past this holiday weekend. I have 4 full cards at Santa Anita I'm doing this week. After this week, I'll put all of my full schedule for Belmont. But right now, if you want to just pre-purchase the Belmont Stakes, and that's the only card you're interested in, you can pre-purchase that now. But I'm going to be doing an early Belmont report after we get a better idea of the field. I'll be doing an early report, and I'll email that early report out. And then most likely, my Belmont Stakes Day full card will be complete 2 to 3 days before race day. You can find my full cards at therunawayhorse.com on my shop page, and I will add a link to the Runaway Horse shop page in the video description below. I've been covering full cards online since the late 1990s, so I've been doing this a long time. So stay tuned for all of my Belmont Stakes video coverage in the coming days and weeks. And like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.